My boss walked in and he thought it was a mannequin. I moved the sheet a little bit and I noticed that it was a body.
It was awful. I've never seen any human being treated like that.
The morning of June 1st, 2015, Adams County Sheriff's Department responded to a body found in the Primrose Motel in Denver, Colorado.
I came out and I responded to the Primrose Motel. We got on scene, got briefed by the deputies that were there on scene. At that point, I went into room number 1.
And I remember the horror of the scene and the gruesome nature of how the body was found.
The room was a mess. It was dirty. The beds were unmade. There was a trash bag on the floor. There was other empty alcohol bottles. Cushions from inside the couch had been removed, and one was on the floor and one was on one of the 2 beds that were in the room.
Investigators finally uncover the young woman's body hidden inside the couch.
The foam part of the cushion had been removed, and that was on the bed. But the covers to those cushions had been laid on the couch to make it look as if someone were just looking in the window or looking through the door on first glance, that there was nothing amiss.
I think the best way to describe it would be inhumane. She was just stuffed in there. It was awful.
She had a pillowcase over her head that was tied at her neck, and then her hands were bound and her ankles were bound by a sheet. She had some underwear that were down below her knees, and that was the only thing she was wearing.
Investigators speak to the motel manager who had discovered the body.
Knocked, found the door was unlocked, and he entered inside. The owner came in and was starting to assist him with cleaning the room. They didn't see the vehicle that they came in any longer. They didn't see anybody in the room, and assumed they just left without checking out.
Boss walked in and he thought it was a mannequin. I moved the sheet a little bit and I noticed that it was a body. I said it's a female, and I told him I was going to call 911.
Detectives do not yet know the victim's identity, but they catch a break when they locate her car in the parking lot.
One of our detectives actually took her fingerprints and was able to get a positive hit when he compared the index finger from her driver's license, was able to make a positive match for Abigail Cozad. We were later notified that her father was at his local PD trying to report her as a missing person. We brought him to the interview room, and unfortunately was the one who had to tell him what had happened, that, we definitely found Abby and we positively identified her. At that point, he was able to provide us with some information.
Was she planning on meeting anybody, or?
Yeah, these
Guys right here.
She called him Emilio, but he also gave her the name Daniel. Memorial weekend, she disappeared also for several days. She disappeared. I was watching her bank accounts, and these people had her car. They had her debit card. They were withdrawing money. They withdrew over $1,000 cash out of her bank account. She told me they were gangbangers. This Danny's girlfriend, or Emilio, she called him Emilio, apparently grabbed her by the throat and tried to beat her up.
Police officers take the statement of the Primrose Motel's maintenance staff. He claims he saw Abigail arrive at the motel the day before with Teresa Dean and 2 other people.
I did see Teresa come out of the room and go to the I call it the trunk, but it's more like a hatchback of the Honda, open it up, and I looked and I seen a female inside getting out of the trunk. And I asked her if she was okay, and she did speak to me, and she said she was fine.
He just kind of wrote it off as another day at the Primrose. It's very typical of that area.
Abby was my older sister. She was 4 years older than I am. Abby was very protective of me. Being my older sister, she liked to pick on me, but nobody else could pick on me.
Abigail's life changed dramatically at 16 years old.
There was a car accident. He hit a drunk driver. They told us that she had a brain injury. She was in a coma for about 4 weeks.
She had a long journey, but she never gave up.
Abigail is brought to counseling where she meets the man who goes by Emilio. A month after they meet, Emilio invites Abigail on a double date. Her father is concerned for her well-being. Detectives continue their investigation by retrieving the details of the motel booking.
The one who rented the room was Teresa Dean. She actually rented the room in her name, had her home address on it. The owner of the motel knew her there. The male that was with them, they did not know him. They didn't recognize him at all. There's another woman that was there with them. They identified her as, at first, Lori or Star. We later found out what her real name was.
The staff at the Primrose Motel identify the other woman as Laura Ortega.
How did it escalate into the attack on this
The
girl?
love part and the talking and calling her.
I want you to go into detail on that, please.
Okay. Don't you love me, babe?
Who said that?
The girl's on the couch. And you dumb bitch came out of his mouth. And then Teresa looked behind and she slammed the thing on the table. And the girl had got up and that Teresa pushed her into the bathroom and then he came behind and I heard boom, 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 boom. Well, first he socked her. Yeah, one's there, one's there.
In the eyes?
Yeah. Like right in this area. And then I seen the hair get pulled and I go, oh no, I ain't watching nobody get beat up. This is not for me. I go, I'm leaving, guys.
According to the police, Laura Ortega was initially charged with first-degree murder. However, since she was not present during Abigail's murder, the charges against her have been dropped and she is free to leave. They also investigate the full identity of the man known as Emilio.
One of the things that really stuck out was a storage rental unit. Mr. Cozad brought that to our attention, and so that was looked into. And the name and phone number we got from there, the phone number matched what Mr. Cozad had given us. The name we got was Emiliano Uriasti.
Emiliano and Teresa used Abby's credit cards and money and bank cards right away. These two suspects were depraved individuals who preyed on a vulnerable young woman.
We had gotten the phone call that Emiliano was going to turn himself in and his father was going to pick him up and bring him to us. The gentleman that actually was with him said that he was his lawyer and that Emiliano would not be making any statements and that we were not to talk to him.
Teresa Dean is located the very next day on June 13th.
Yeah, I did help her out of the trunk. Why? Because I didn't want to hurt, man. You know? I did. And then, you know, she was supposed to take a shower or take a bath. I went in there and checked on her real quick. Came out. Emiliano went in there and was alone with her.
Laura, again, was interviewed.
Of course.
Okay. And she said that, well, again, she saw things happen. She also claims that she saw you doing things as well.
And just stand up for me and turn around. You're actually being placed under arrest
Okay.
for first-degree murder.
What? Are you serious?
She pleads guilty and is offered a plea deal of 32 years in prison in exchange for her testimony against Emiliano Uriasti.
I saw a person that was basically self-preservation. You know, she was very manipulative. It was obvious. I think she was saving her own skin. She knew what she did.
It doesn't take long for the jury to reach a verdict.
Emiliano was convicted of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison.
Guilty of first-degree murder, guilty of felony murder, guilty of robbery, guilty of motor vehicle theft. I felt that we had done a good job for Abby and done a good job for her family.
I would like the world to know that my sister was an amazing, smart, beautiful person that cared a lot about the people in the world, and I think we could all learn something